All right. Welcome. Namaste, everyone in the catch. I'm so happy to be here with you. My kitty is finally gotten some care and we're getting her comfortable. So I feel much better. And now we can focus. So, welcome, Nana Kasha here. And I want to just dive in right now and start to explore some of the most exciting things that you can ever do in your whole life. If you have the opportunity, if you have the ability to go on a sacred trip, to go somewhere, even by yourself, even in your neighborhood, across the planet, to Egypt, somewhere, and you do it in a way that has intention, purpose, presence, it makes all the difference in the world. So let me start by sharing this so I can ask my husband what he's doing and figure out how to focus. Okay. So anyway, we have upstairs, downstairs thing, and he came in and it was very distracting. So we're all good. So please say hi if you are here. And I'll share very quickly that we have a couple of spots left. We have three, I believe, and for Maria and I in Stonehenge. So I'm so excited. We're already planning more of these kinds of in-depth experiences. We were interviewed on a podcast the other day together about this, and they said at the end, like, I think you two coming together is just like a powerhouse of energy, and that's what I feel like. The love, the goddess energy, the understanding, the respect for nature. Maria's being a druid. I'm a priestess of so many different things. We're both energy healers. We're both past life teachers and all kinds of different things. And then she has this vast and deep wisdom about the energies of the earth, about Stonehenge specifically, about the ancient peoples. She found and she was the discoverer of the long skulled culture, the people on the British Isles. And so we will be doing that along with, you can pick and choose all these beautiful sites that we're going to go to. And we've done several shows together with Maria. I really recommend that you watch them. They're down here. Subscribe, hit notifications so you do know when we go live. And make sure that you come on to nanakasha.com because we'll let you know about the different shows and some of the readings. Like Sunday, I'm going to come live and do some intuitive readings. We are opening enrollment for Intuition Awakening Summer Camp. And so, what happens when you go on a sacred retreat? What happens if you go? Then we have the beforehand, just to interrupt myself. We, from the 1st to the 4th, you can come, or you can come to the whole thing. It's what I recommend you do. Or the 6th to the 8th with Maria. So, what happens? These two go together. We have a day off in between in Glastonbury for rest and play, a day and a half. And there's just so much love and so much power in the land here, in the ancient mysteries, the stories, the goddesses, the waters, the wells, the labyrinths, the chapels, the abbeys, the heart chakra of the earth. It just goes on and on and on. So regardless of where you are in your life, this is a beautiful place to come. Now, this series has been about sacred travel, pilgrimage. This is a pilgrimage. Why? A pilgrimage has presence, has intent, has the intention to commune within, to get to know yourself better, to surrender to source, to be one with the divine. And that's what this is about, because the lost queens, as they're calling themselves, the ancient queens, these are archetypal, sacred feminine, wisdom keepers, powerful beings who have embodied experiences that we need right now to reclaim our voices. And this is for everyone on the planet. Why is anyone sitting around living a life full of pain, cruelty, stress, and so on? And when you say, oh, it's is about healing your heart, being encased in love, going back to nature, talking to the spirits. We're surrendering to the Great Mother, awakening the sacred feminine mysteries, receiving healing, receiving hugs, receiving divine water magic. We're going to program. We have private access. And then we'll have this breath in between. And then we'll go into this unbelievable experience where we are going to these ancient sites, Dragon Hill, Wayland Smithy, where there's chakras in this long barrel, which is a stone healing temple that you can go in. We're interacting with everything, just what I've been sharing with you in this series. And this is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. To me, ever since I went to Egypt with my Melchizedek method, with Alton and the first mystery school, that was a life changer. That combining a spiritual work, energy work, mystery school work with a sacred place, with sacred access, with combining, doing those things together. This is what I love. So we go in a sacred way, like I've been sharing with you. And we go in a sacred way. That means that we have our intentions. We understand that this is a living place. We respect the ancients. We go with our intention to connect with the ancient queens, with the ancient long skulled people, with the healers, with the goddess temples, with the moon. It's going to be the full moon. So what happens is that you start to resonate at a whole new level. Your frequency balances, your mind balances, your body balances. You have a possibility of feeling so differently, thinking so differently, accessing other solutions, other ideas, more energy. So you go with your own purpose, and then as a group, we come together. And these energies have invited us. I've spoken to them. Maria has spoken to them. We go in a super peaceful, harmonious, love way to both be welcomed unconditionally and surrender to the release that's possible here, and surrender to the beautiful energies and the portals and the Venus encodement in this beautiful Wells Cathedral. This is exactly what I've been talking about. If you feel drawn to something like this particular kind of like Celtic, Druidic, medieval, goddess, all this kind of stuff, it is a blend of shamanic healing, sound healing, elemental magic, communicating, transmissions, energy sensing, earth energy, star energy, stone energy, Neolithic energies, Bronze Age energies, and more. And these are combined in a way that you fill your mind and your logical side with all this excitement, and then you fill your heart and you fill all these parts of you that get to have an adventure, get to have an experience, get to have no food, get to have a profound group experience, get to have a heart opening, get to have, satisfy your curiosity about all the frequencies and the spirals and the vibrations, and see and sense energy that you never did before, because you will go home transformed, right? So this is a perfect example so that we can dive into our topic today. So our topic today is, let me see if I have this. Here you go. Okay, I don't know why that looks black now, but okay. So let's dive into this next step. And we've added another to this series. I'm super excited about it because, okay, this is some reason goes way back, way back in time. My slides, here we go. So what happens is we are decoding the library of the infinite, and that is in the temples and the stones, in the waters, the ancient memories, the DNA, in the seeds, in the roots, in the crystals, in the bones, in the waters, in us, because we are a temple. Our body is a temple. You've heard this in yogic practices, yogi and Hindu practices, perhaps, or you've heard this in self-love, right? Like your body is a temple, and treat your body as a temple. I never understood that. I never understood that at all. I didn't have I wasn't raised with temples or any of that kind of stuff. So, but also it just felt a little bit too like, I don't know if I'm really worthy of being a temple, and yeah, I'll take care of myself. I'm busy doing other stuff. So what we're doing here, and thank you for joining me, is digging into the ancient mysteries, talking to the ancients and the ancestors, remembering who was here, who held the wisdom, what did they know, what ceremonies did they perform, what did the codes and the symbols they left us mean, so that the sacred wisdom becomes knowledge that we can embody. And now we can take advantage of this amazing moment when everything is falling apart. Isn't it fantastic? So I've got all kinds of ways to help you through the stress and the trauma and the fear and the uncertainty of all the stuff that's happening. First of all, unplug. Don't believe anything you hear. Don't go down that road into what this news story said or what this thing, everything's going to change today. It'll change tomorrow, and it'll change again, and it'll change again. So get into the flow, let go, hold your intention to create a world of beauty and light and harmony, please. Because if you do not get your emotions, your mind, and your intuition into alignment, cleansed, cleared, purified, detoxed, unhooked from all those conditionings, you're going to keep being a part of that system that is creating war. I don't want any more of that. I'm moving into a different reality. Please come with me. I know that in your heart, everyone wants to find a solution. Everyone wants to heal everyone. Everyone wants to find justice. Everybody wants to find the solution. But we don't find it by blaming people, because you have to understand the state of consciousness is so low at blame and guilt and shame and enslavement and anger and craving and never enoughness. This is the reality. Don't buy it. Don't believe it. Step out of it, please. Take a pilgrimage in some way back to your heart, because the gifts of sacred travel are right there for you. And what do they give you? Well, you've got to get out of the norm. You've got to break the mundane. You have to do things differently. You have to stop thinking everything means something. Oh, it's not all perfect right now, therefore I'm a loser. It didn't go right. No. So today we're going to dive into temples and truth and transformation that's possible when you do sacred travel. A little bit of what I touched on just now about the full moon Stonehenge retreat, when we're going into these places as the ancient priestesses of the goddess temple who originally built these original temples. All of them have many phases, 2, 3, 7, 5, I don't know. And they were built in a certain way. And when you enter a temple, you will have one level of connection. When you enter in a sacred way, when you have an intention, when you respect the land, when you prepare yourself and don't just show up distracted and with your phone and all of this stuff, you actually have reverence and respect for the place, for the land, for the ancestors, for the power, for the elders, for you and your journey, that you're going to actually take this next moment and let go of everything else. And then you bring your challenges to the temples. Of course you do. But you don't let them drag them in. So all temples had temples of initiation that led up to the big temple, because you had to go through many initiations, many learnings, many classes, many spiritual ups and downs, many life ups and downs, many challenges, in order to be able to handle the level of transformation and truth that was possible in the big, big temples. Okay. So what happens? This one's in Athens, by the way. This is a picture of mine from 2 years ago. We'll be going back to Greece again next year. And this is a temple that actually was for Athena and the first priestess to Athena on the Acropolis. You might tune into any of these kinds of things we're talking about. So stone circles, long barrows, other dolmen, ancient castles, which we're thinking about doing some next year, right? Magical groves or waterfalls or places of pristine nature and beauty, the Amazon. Maybe you feel drawn to the Mayan temples, the Egyptian temples, the Native American sites, the mounds, the beautiful vortexes and stones in places like Sedona, perhaps Croatia, all over the world, right? We're waking up to that the ancients have left us all of these symbols, all of these locators, all of these markers, all of these temples. And now this one we already did. This one we already did. So these are here. There's a list, and we'll be adding this one too. Okay. So now that you understand that when you go on a sacred retreat, if you design it, if you go by yourself or if you go with a small group, I've given you a lot of advice over this series on how to enter, how to prepare, how to talk to the land, because I can promise you these things are vital. You are dealing with huge energies, giant portals in place and time. And I've been places that scare me, like the redwoods, okay? Between every one of those trees, when you walk away from people, and you're just in that forest, that is a place of immense power. That is a place of multiple universes. That place is, you could walk through one doorway between two trees, and who knows where you will end up. So when you go to temples of transformation, you are going with a sacred reason, as well as, oh, I've always wanted to see this, or I love Greek food, or I want to go learn, how to be an oracle again with Nan in Delphi, right? Or something like that. And so what happens is you raise your consciousness, you receive downloads, you get visions, you activate fears and pains, and sometimes old things get worse. Maybe you get another bee sting and you're itching all over, or maybe you suddenly start having panic attacks and you can't even be inside. These are real things that have happened to me and my clients. And then a little while later, a few hours, a few days, a few weeks later, that opens a new doorway to a completely new freedom, a completely new level of trust of the universe, of receiving love, of living in flow, of understanding the abundance that's all around you, because that's the truth that you're seeking. The truth that you're seeking is already inside of you. You're looking for a way to get into you, not get out. And when you change what's in, like I teach you in Wishes Fulfilled and the Oracle class and in Intuition Awakening, you go in. This is where you will make the change. When you're deep in here, all the reality around you is going to change. You could go to the same temple 10 times and have 10 different experiences. One, because it's a different day. You're in a different place or thought. You have a different intention. The moon is high, the moon is not high. It goes on and on and on. I'm talking, though, about you choosing to come in a sacred way. I want you to live your life in a sacred way. So the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp is going to start on, I think, the 25th of July. We do this once a year. It's become a springboard for so many people. It's become one of those things where people come back. Oh my God, I love that. I'm in. Because what do we do? All right, I'm going to create sacred space. I'm going to help you with what you're seeing and open up your clairaudience, your clairvoyance, your everything. Okay. But the big thing is the practice, the sacred space, the activations that get you to a new level. And then you get to practice, and then you get to get the feedback, and then you get to travel and transform along with this sacred group. And so there's a limited spots because I want everyone to have a chance to practice. And we get to be a part of this together. And I can promise you, if you're afraid of that and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that, I don't want to be put on the spot, then it's probably the best thing for you. However, I'm not going to take this time to share everything that I've written about who this is for. It's not for you if you want to cling to your excuses, if you want to stay in fear, if you want to listen to that story over there, if you want to keep persecuting, doubting yourself, dumbing down your senses, not trusting and listening to your inner guidance, your inner voice, your inner knowing, all of your intuitive powers. If you're still afraid of being and living on your spiritual path, this isn't for you, because this is acceleration. Okay. This is going to take you to a whole new level instantly, probably from the minute that you sign up. Okay. Something big will break through. That's the way it works, because you've now entered the temple with me. I want to share the picture with you, is why I keep leaving this up here. This is my picture. We primarily only use my pictures. We don't use other people's pictures ever. So, anybody says, that's my picture. No, it's not. So you can't really tell, but I'm over here under the 5. And or actually that's Chris. You might see his little hat and his white shirt. And then if you keep moving over above, but at about halfway down the over towards the edge above the logo, that's me. I have a blue top and a pink bottom. And this is a place called Kaaba. And Kaaba is a sacred Mayan site. Give me 1 second. Thank you. It's a sacred Mayan site not far from me. Always the most profound magic happens at this place. It's not the biggest of sites. It's not the most well-known of sites. But this particular building that you're looking at here is covered in masks, very elaborate symbolic faces that are put together from many different symbols that makes the face of Chak, the rain god, who's the abundance god, the energy of abundance. And it's not fear of water, it's appreciation of abundance and water and life force pouring down. And so when you sit in front of this entire wall of Chak rain god masks, which we will be doing next year, again, it's transcendent. That's just the word. The first time we went here, so this is giving you an idea of what happens that gives this transformation. And this transformation isn't just, oh, I think I feel better. Oh, I thought of a solution. Oh, I let go of my anger. You may feel anger. You may feel some pain or remember a life when you were tortured or killed. And you may be very upset about it. And then if you stay present, the energies here are guiding you through a transformative initiation type process. Okay. And so what happens is that you can see the little being of light, the little winged thing that appeared above her head. Sometimes you see these, most of the time you don't. You can write it off as an optical thing from the sun, but it's not. We have many, many pictures of this exact thing. So this is Michelle. She's sitting on the altar. The altar is covered in glyphs, Mayan sacred calendar glyphs. And it's a big rectangle. She's sitting in the center of it, facing the rain god mask wall, which goes way beyond what you can see. There's rooms right here. You can sort of see the doors that you can enter. Of course, there's nothing in there but some trees that are growing now. However, the power of this place, what it was used for, is still there. The sacredness, the wisdom, the abundance, the knowledge that this god, goddess, that this Lord, they didn't call anything a god. They didn't believe in God the way that most Westerners were taught. There's this one God and everything else. It's everything is oneness, and there's a different expression. We are each a different expression, the 1,000 or 10,000 faces of source, of the divine. So this is all about abundance. And this is all about taking your power back and receiving. And so what happens is that you can see the light came and this rainbow and just all this stuff was happening. Oh, actually, it's me. Is it me? No, I don't know. No, it's not. The hair's too long. That's me over there, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we were wearing the same colors without talking, but opposite. Like I had the blue top and she had the blue bottom. So looks like mine though. Okay. So anyway, I want you to start to think about, this is a temple. This is obvious to see it as a temple. It is from a sacred place. So if you were in the reality, in the mindset, in the cosmovision, in the world, being raised in the culture that built this and used this, you would know, because this is on a road of many, many temple sites that are all connected through a sacred road, sakbe, that they would walk. And they led to the bigger temple Uxmal, which is the Sacred Feminine University. They are all some form of library, university, school, initiation. It's where ceremony was carried out for the different days. It was where you went through a particular level of your initiations to either just become a citizen that understood that you're divine and human, or to become a shaman, or to become an herbal healer, or to become whatever your birth sign said. And you were respected and trained and offered every opportunity to live the life your soul said by, and they determined that through this at these temples of transformation. So the truth that can come through could be, what is your purpose in life? You could see yourself in Atlantis, Lemuria, or another life. What's happened to us at this particular place is quite phenomenal. But we have many, many, many times when we're taken through these temples, and our transformation is either going down into the pyramid, into sacred chambers or sacred ceremonies, or right out the bottom of the pyramid into waters that take us to Atlantis or Lemuria. And there's a strong connection between the Maya and Atlantis and Lemuria, and many, many cultures, many more than we realize. So the transformation in some of them was everybody seeing what they did in that life. Why would that matter? Because the transformation of who am I? What am I meant to do? Maybe you're asking, what's my next step? What is the thing that I'm meant to do in my life that is going to make a difference? I'm tired, because once you transform, once you have allowed your heart to express what it really wants, it starts to take shape. And then you will be like, I don't like this anymore. This job doesn't fit me. These people don't fit me. I love these people, but I don't want to hang out with them anymore. I don't want to watch that show anymore. I don't want to have that conversation anymore. I'm not interested in that anymore. I want to do something different. I want to be alone. This is spiritual awakening. And the light body activations help the light body sickness and the energy work. And tuning into these temples is so powerful, because especially once you've been there, now you're entangled through time. And we do different processes to stay connected, like through crystals and things that are there, and you have them, and so on and so forth. So these are temples that cause a transformation in some level of your being, different for everyone, but it's aligned to your truth. And that's when you go, like we went here. This is the first time that we went. And the first time that we went, I wanted to come over to this area. I lived in a different part, and I went to my Mayan friends, Michelle and Carlos and Christian Aztec, and I said, get a van, let's go be the Mayan Mystery Squad. We're going. We went to Akbalam, which is the Jaguar Temple. We went to Uxmal, which is the Sacred Feminine University, or what we call the place of kindness of Mother Moon. That's the spiritual or sacred transcription. I was going to say translation of Uxmal. And Uxmal is the big site that's very close to this. So we will be going to Uxmal with the very sacred fire Chikaban Mayan priest event in December. And I'm going to share that with you soon, but it's a very limited, it's something I'm a part of. And we will be including Uxmal, but not Kaba. And in next year, I'm going to be bringing Maria over here, and we are going to be going to Kaba. So first time we got to Kaba, we got there. I like to get there before it opens to be the first people. There's no one else there. We pay the little man at the booth, and there's a huge field of grass all around this temple. And we start to walk towards, along this way to get up on this temple. And we hear this buzzing and thought it was a drone. It's not a drone. We look down, and the field is full of bees. It's just full of bees. It's like a living carpet of bees. And I'm extremely sensitive and, to bee stings. So I froze because I have open-toed sandals, and I look at the guy and he's like, go, go. And I'm like, but the bees, he goes, just go, go. So I thought, okay, I surrender. Bees are very sacred to the Maya. They not only cultivated them, they have their own stingless, tiny little royal bee. Honey was medicine. Honey was considered gold. Honey, revered, brought in the queen energy. So there's all kinds of stuff going on here. But bees Okay, so when you go to a temple of transformation, it's not just going to be that temple or one time frame when that temple was used to honor that particular person or god or eclipse in a certain way. No, the animal spirits, the insect spirits, the land guardians, the earth energies, the star energies, the everything is here. So your transformation could be different every time you go. So I don't know that I have any more pictures of this place ready to show you, but what happened was I started to walk very slowly across this field, watching the bees hovering up over my feet. And everywhere I moved, they stayed just exactly the right distance away from me. And I started to trust more. And this is a very deep spiritual practice, going into what you fear, what could potentially harm you or kill you, and accept the medicine of the bee, which is bees defy gravity. They defy the laws of physics, or you could say they work with gravity, and they work with and beyond and bend the laws of gravity. So if you have bee medicine, oh, there's value in gold and sweetness and all kinds of other powerful things there, and queen energy. However, think about this. If you have this bee energy and it's raising its frequency and it can fly around in a body that's too heavy for its wings. So it's literally impossible. It's in front of your eyes, and it's impossible. All right, a big bumblebee. And so what does it do? Well, it receives the energy from the honeycomb, the sacred geometry. And these temples of transformation, they're the same. The stones have a lattice work that might be activated by a particular moon, sun, water, rain, tone, sound. There, many of these open portals if you have the right instruments, if you say the right chants, if you bring the right crystals together, if you could tap into that ancient ceremony that somebody did. This is the kind of stuff we're doing. And so we walked across. By the time we got to the temple, we were levitating. We were literally all just about an inch or two off the ground. You could tell, but it was still a little weird. We walked around, we explored, we looked at the altar, and we went up here on the stairs and sat down to do our meditation. Immediately, we were all transcending. We were surrounded in gold light energies. It was puffy little ball light energies that remind me of bee pollen. It sounds kind of funny, but that's what it was all around us. And my friend Michelle said I'm a meditation teacher and I do this all the time, but she said, I have never, ever in my life had such a fast, easy, and powerful and profound meditation. So that is the energy of the place. That is her readiness and willingness going there ready for transformation. That's her meeting this space and allowing it to unlock something. And all of us were levitating and we're seeing this gold and the light and all the energies that gold has to do. It was quite profound. Then I take my group there. Okay, so I always go first if I can, and many times, often, and I talk to the land and I have these experiences and I let it speak to me and I let that land and the transformation, because I am bringing a group. So if it's you, if you're meant to come in this group, then this place will speak to me and through me and give me the words that will, let you hear that this is for your path. And I am just the messenger. I am the pathway. I'm the bridge for your transformation and your truth. But I hold the space for you to connect. So we're there, and I've been preparing space and I'm leading the meditation, right? And I'm holding the container. And so she's just woo like that. Then I go with my group. And not only after we did this, did we find a snake skin hanging out of the wall right down here, which is a big deal because of the Cuckoo Khan, who's the sacred serpent. And that serpent energy is unconditional love and sacred knowledge. And like this year, it's a serpent year. We're shedding. So that idea that we went here, everybody sat here, I guided the meditation, we each took turns on the altar, I connected them to some of the symbols as they spoke, and everybody had an activation of their crystals, what happened was quite phenomenal. We had people with wands and crystals and jewelry and bracelets, and everything started to glow blue or turn sparkly gold. Clear crystals started to grow shapes in them. One lady had this huge clear wand. At the beginning, I thought it wasn't actually crystal because it was so pure and clear. And it started to grow a little white pyramid in the bottom of it. And then all of this continued from this activation at this temple of transformation through the next 5 to 7 days of that retreat. It was a longer retreat, so I think it was at least another 5 days. And every meal, it would be like, what's your bracelet doing? Oh, mine's glowing now. Oh, mine did this. Look, I now have 3 birds in my crystal instead of 2. I've even talked to a man in Arkansas that I buy crystals from, who's been working with crystals much of his life. And he said he has never, ever, ever heard of that happening. Crystals are alive. Crystals are full of consciousness, energy, medicine. Crystals still grow. If you have a crystal long enough, you will maybe see a small change in that inner landscape. They have portals inside of them, those landscapes and things. They hold light, but they're part of the earth. They're wisdom keepers, and they have frequencies that can help you shift. So whatever that group and all the work we were doing at that moment, we opened a portal in this temple of transformation to something that came in at the frequency of those crystals. And it kept happening after people went home. People would send things and say, I went home and all my crystals in my house are glowing blue now. It was just absolutely fascinating. That particular thing's never happened to us again. But that is the idea, that you enter a different realm. You leave your reality, not just by leaving your house, but when you go to a temple or transformation, when you go in a sacred way, when you do sacred activations the way I do, and you understand you're there for this opportunity because your soul called you. That means profound things that are going to lead you to your truth are going to open for you. So I'm not going to share a whole lot more about Intuition Awakening Summer Camp. I'm going to make a video all about it for you, but I want to recommend that you do go, that you check it out, that you think about it, because we have only a certain number of spots. Some people from the past are already jumping in. We're giving them first shot at it, our first opportunity to do that. And what happens is all on the page is the best thing to say. Okay. It's got the kind of the flow. It's focused very highly on practice. And the only thing I really will share at this moment is how much information keeps coming forward saying that you must deepen your connection now. Your intuitive wisdom has to start to open and match the higher consciousness frequencies that are available right now. Going to sacred places, going in a sacred way, doing ceremony, even if it's sunrise ceremony by yourself, it's just so powerful now because we've shed so much of our limits. And there's no more reason to hold on to it, to help co-create the fear. If you're agreeing to the fear, you're doing it. You need to up-level your intuitive gifts, your trust of yourself. You need to get the feedback. You need to understand you're not alone. You need to get out of war and start creating peace. And that is all comes through the trust and stability you get by going into your own intuitive network and understanding, learning to understand it, learning to receive it, getting past your doubt, girl, getting past of all of that other stuff. And if you don't want to awaken, if you don't want to amplify your senses, if you don't want to start to be the master of your light and understand that you're the one creating and actually just take that responsibility, because now you're free. Now you've got all the power in your hands. It's way cool. All right. So, it is a sacred container with limited spots. So if you're interested, hop on over there, join us. I do this because I want to give you a hand up. I used to visualize the clouds parting and a hand coming down to help me up, saying, we're here to help you. You can't see us, but we're here to help you. So in some way, maybe this message is coming to you because it's time for you to listen. And you got to pay attention to what you're listening to. You're listening to the fear, or you're listening to the angels. Okay. So all of that great stuff is going to happen, and all of this great stuff is going to happen. And now we're going to go back to a little bit more about Temple's truth and transformation. And I want to share with you the next in this series. Perhaps there will be more, because this one popped in the other day. So this next episode will be next week. I don't know the exact date. It's right here below. And it's entering sacred space for healing, guidance, and protection. So going forward into our idea of bringing pilgrimage to bring you back to peace and power, to connect you with your purpose and the path that you're meant to be on, that is healing, meaning making you whole again, so that you can live in power, you can live in sacredness. This isn't about being meek, giving all your stuff up and being poor. That has no value to anyone. So stop it and don't believe that anymore. Surrender it. This is Chris and I at the Chalice Well Garden last year, before our hand fasting we did. And it, as you can see, it's so beautiful. And we're walking down the path. And I thought it was just a really beautiful representation of sacred space. So you can see on the other ones, there's my Mayan pyramid and Stonehenge and my Greek pyramid, all to give you different ideas of places, as well as different energies, different cultures, different time periods. There's a million little energies in each one of these that can call you. Now, why do you need to create sacred space? Why do you need to enter sacred space? Why do you need to know how to enter sacred space and not get possessed? All of it is for your highest good, and there's a way to do that. So I'm going to share that with you next week. All right. So here's what happens. You become a new person on sacred retreats. You transform on so many levels. Then when you go to a sacred retreat, that you might feel happy, you might feel adventurous, you might heal your fear of public, maybe, or spending money on yourself or something like that. You may find more confidence. You may feel more free, connected, alive. You're going to in all of mine, I'm not sure there's ever been anybody who didn't have some breakthrough and shift in their intuitive abilities to hear and see and sense and feel communications, auras, energies from other realms. I don't know where you are. I don't know what will happen for you. I don't know how it will unfold for you. But this is about you finding you inside of a container with energies that can do these things, like I've been sharing with you in some of these stories. So when you have an aha, when you have a moment when everything shifts and you feel peace, or you feel free from worrying about what happened, or you no longer feel a sense of guilt, and that trauma lifts, you feel lighter and therefore freer and therefore more in harmony, and therefore you can sense more light. Now, everyone gets some kind of downloads or messages or information, and that's what the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp is about, is to give you a place to practice, activate, meet, and understand many, many, many senses, many, many ways of receiving information that you may never have experienced, and you're going to naturally be excellent at some of them already. Okay. Some people get downloads and are freed from grief and trauma. Sometimes pain in the body can be psychosomatic. Pain of what's coming up could be shifted to like, oh, I'm glad that's coming up. Maybe you're going through a breakup, or a change in jobs, or moving away, or leaving a job. And there's a sense of fear in that, and yet there's a sense of freedom in that, and you're reaching for certainty, and what you really want is truth. So I want you to invite you to think about the idea of your body as a temple, and this is a very, very prominent concept in most teachings of energy healing, mystery schools, all of this kind of frequency, sacred geometry. I started with embodying the Great Pyramid of Giza, and we have embodied the Kukulkan Pyramid. We've embodied a lot of different temples, and there's a process to that. But if you imagine the temple they're talking to you and saying, if this was you, climb the temple, go back up here to your spirit, right? Find the path, find the truth. The codes are here, the mysteries are here, your wisdom is here. Maybe even you as a wise one in another life are there. So downloads could come in all forms. It may not happen at the time. It may be later when you go home and then you see something and realize you don't react to it anymore. You're not triggered by it as much. So there's a whole other level that goes on that you may not know about. And so I wanted to if you don't know Joe Dispenza, or if you do, he was in The Secret and the What the Bleep Do We Know, and he does these workshops where they measure your brain to see what meditation does, to see what visualization does, to see what these kinds of energies we're talking to you about, being in them, imagining them, releasing yourself from your mundane, releasing yourself from your identity. He has whole books written on how to stop being you, how to break the habit of being you or something, how to get out. And he's said for decades now, get out of your house, break your routine. If you wake up in the morning and grab your phone and scroll Facebook, don't do it. Literally interrupt that pattern. This is mindset, as a hypnotherapist and a homeopath and a lot of other energy medicines that I've worked with, and is understanding that we get stuck in a habit of how we think about ourselves, what we do. So this has now been turned from theory and a lot of people saying this is true into scientific and biological feedback where we can see the result through a scientific form that makes many people's brains feel better. So brain and body test monitoring he's done at his retreats, and he's brought scientific proof to how powerful it is to go on a sacred retreat. So this is from his documentary called Source, which I think you can watch free still now, and it's very interesting. And he says, people, they have different blood chemistry, gene expression. They become profound. I said, you could feel better, right? You could have a sense of peace. You could go home and say, I know I'm, going to go do this job. I know I'm ready for that. However, think about this and what is happening on another level. What maybe you won't know about for days, weeks, months. What is going to be transforming at the same time. You're transforming literally. And when you understand that you carry trauma in your cells, and this happens, wow. And you can watch his documentary. They've proven that people can heal all kinds of things. And, I'm not a doctor, so just go watch his show if you're interested. So your relationship with sacred space is a living conversation. So I want you to learn how I talk to it. For us to come, I ask protection, permission for my group and I open my heart. I say in sacred language and sacred ways that match the place, the ancestors, the temple. I ask for truth to be revealed, for love to be given, for our wisdom and our highest good to be blossomed, nourished, bloomed, and for us to come, that we are coming in harmony and peace, that we're announcing ourselves, and that we will not bring our toxins. We will surrender them to the healing power of that sacred site. So if you greet the spirits of the land, the stones, and the ancestors, you ask them all of these things before you go. You visualize it, that you have to plan the trip, right? You either have to sign up to come to my retreat, or you have to say, oh, I'm going to go to this park or this place near me, or I'm going to take a trip to, Egypt or whatever, right? So you're going to be in that process. The minute you think about it, the minute you start looking at pictures, you're starting to do that. You can talk to the land. You can call to the land, the ancestors and priestesses. You can call to whatever era, whatever part of you, whatever history, whatever triggers your curiosity. I mean, maybe you've heard that Avalon, Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the earth. It's also the movable third eye. So you go there, you connect your eye and your heart, and now you're in harmony in a way that you couldn't have imagined. And that's not something most people talk about, right? So you tune in, you might start receiving information in advance. You might not even understand. You'd be like, but I'm going there for heart healing, and it keeps showing me this other thing. Maybe you keep seeing a sword. Maybe that intuitive sight is starting as you open your heart and you say, I'm ready and willing to come. I'm ready and willing my fears. I'm ready to surrender and receive. I'm ready to connect. I'm ready to walk through a portal of time, and I'm ready to do it to honor the land. Please welcome me. Please welcome my group. Please come protect us. I talk to the spirits. I talk to the Alush, the fairies, the nature spirits, the land, the earth, the ancestors, everything, include it all, and bathe it in gratitude. Please welcome us. Please welcome us. Please welcome us. So when you go, you activate that site. It comes alive for you or for your group, for my group. So if you come on mine, I always say, well, the minute you join, even if it's a month or two away, you're now a part of the stream affecting what is going to happen, what guides or energies come up, what temples open for us, what special interesting things happen, like being levitated by bees or crystals changing. You're a part of that. And you're a part of that when you intend to go to any temple of transformation in a sacred way, because what you're doing is asking for truth that is optimal for your highest good at this time to come forward. Not everything that temple knows, not every era. Some people come and tune into the pain. Maybe people were killed there. Maybe there was an attack. Maybe there was a conquering thing that happened. Maybe, someone's father died there, no. And so all things exist. But I go in a sacred way where I have already activated my light body and learned to create a sacred temple that travels with me. I activate and teach my group to do that. I have sacred spheres of light that are around us. I've already talked to the land, the guardians of the land. I've already communicated, like in September, it's going to be the full moon, and then the lunar eclipse, and it's a high moon, and there's some other energies happening. So there's all kinds of things that started to speak to me that I'm now drawing from. All of those energies know we're coming. We've already had a communication. And that somebody said, oh my goodness, please tell me when you're coming. We're going to set out a banquet for you. We're going to decorate. We're going to make everything beautiful just the way you like it. But you don't tell them you're coming and you show up. Now what? Now what? Right? So you have a deep and profound connection that you can make to activate a sacred site, to have a particular experience, to receive a particular thing. But you also have to realize, as you create that field of harmony, you're surrendering to what is optimal for you. So you say, I would love to have this, but a heart healing may involve you being triggered into grief for a half a day, or having a panic attack for a week, and things that have happened to me before that trauma is cleansed. Okay. I want you to activate yourself into a sacred temple of light. And when you call on the ancestors, you can use Wayaninin, Mother, I am here, in Lakech. You can say, I come in peace and harmony and grace, and I walk with the masters of light. I call to the guardians of place. I ask that the divine love and light of the Mother walk with me, protect me, and guide me on the path that is most optimal for me. That's just one example of many ways that you can create this field of harmony. You can speak to that place ahead. You can attune to the truth. The truth you want is not the ego truth. I wish I had this. It's that I'm willing to surrender by going in here and receive a cosmic attunement, a galactic alignment, an ancient wisdom, a profound healing that is outside of the norm, whatever might happen. Again, remember, healing isn't like doctors fixing you. It's becoming whole. It's remembering who you are. We'll also explore how, or we are exploring how to protect your energy. We just did that. So, anywhere in the world that you're walking, if you walk through the streets of Paris and London on your vacation, or New York, or your town, if you walk through a national forest and there's no temples, but lots of trees and animals and forests and lakes and things like that, respect everything as a temple of truth and transformation, because there's earth energies, there's yin and yang energies and currents and ley lines and dragons, and just there's so much all around you, and having respect for that opens you to the transformation that's possible for you. And when you're doing this, I recommend that you hold the intention you're on a sacred pilgrimage, that you sit before you go, or when you're there, if possible, in quietness, in gratitude, in grace. You always can enter it again later. So you open a connection with gratitude. Always thank the space when you leave. Leave a gift. Maybe it's a hair, maybe it's a flower, maybe it's a leaf. If you take a gift like a crystal, don't pollute the environment. Don't make a big plastic thing because you thought it was nice and then leave it in a sacred place in nature. Bring a tiny little pebble of a rose quartz crystal. Bring some herbs. Bring some tea. Bring some tobacco. Bring your DNA. Okay, you can think about how you want to do that. So I love that. I want you to enter with heart and intent, and I want you to leave with the same thing, allowing yourself to have a really, really powerful way of doing that. So I thought that was it. We did this, right? Let's look and see if there's anything else before we close up. So sacred sites are light temples. That means that they're made of light. They're portals through their sacred geometry, their alignment, their use, their intention. Everything is a mirror of you. So if you feel drawn to one, even in a picture, or you watch videos, you may feel very drawn to Stonehenge. And there could be many different reasons for that, but it's a mirror for you. So they're built as the human body. They're encoded with cosmic frequencies. They're designed to awaken your divine blueprint and purpose in some way. And of course, they're all different, but they all have that commonality. So the cosmic alignment is built into almost every temple of transformation. Stars, constellations, sunrises, sunsets, moonrises, moonsets, solstices, equinoxes, spirals, underground waters, geospirals, currents, all kinds of things. Okay. And the temples are cosmic and spiritual technology. And what that means is that the ancients were very advanced in that they understood how to work with the rhythms. They worked with the stars. They worked with the sun. They worked with the cycles. They worked with the dirt and the crystals and the waters to co-create, to understand, to harness power, to create all kinds of possibilities. And this is also something you might download, might be part of the truth that you go. When you enter with intention, like we've talked, and in the next episode, I'll share how to enter in sacred space more. Your energy aligns with the land, the guardians, and the elements, like we said. There's all kinds of clarity, timelines open. Your light body is activated. That's emotional, auric, spiritual, mental, physical, many, many, many layers to your light body. And trauma, bonds that we call attachments to beliefs, mindsets, attachments to vows, soul contracts. Memory is stored in many places, and your memory is restored when you go to these temples of transformation, because you remember who you were, or you remember that you don't have to be something you're not. So these are living schools. The Maya called them cosmic universities. And you may be re-entering the cosmic university when you go here. You may be studied here. Maybe you taught here. Maybe you worked as a priestess here. Maybe you were a healer here. Maybe you came back several different lifetimes over the era of that particular place. And if you're drawn to places like Egypt or Maya land and Atlantis, it's because they were built and seeded by Atlantis. Okay. Communicate before your arrival with the spirits and energies. We talked about that. Then arrive with reverence, put away your phones, only listen to music if that's what you need them for. Bring your full present body in, step onto the land, take that first step, see your foot hitting the ground with reverence, with love, okay? Communicating again. Thank you for welcoming me. Once again, I've called to you. I'm here in harmony and peace. Thank you. I ask for protection. I ask for communication and love. I would like to bring my key codes, whatever's optimal, and I am ready to receive and release. I am so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then you're going to see yourself leaving, smiling, happy, healthy, enlightened, whatever you want. Please predict and carry the end result that you want, not the details that you'll know exactly what will happen, but that you will be happy, full of gratitude, and satisfied. So when you offer peace and gratitude, when you are willing to co-create with the energies instead of saying it has to be like this, like I'll go with the intent to, I live amongst the Mayan pyramids, right? So I go with the intent to meditate in this particular temple or on this particular place, but I always enter the space, even with a group, listening. What is this moment right now, now that it is here? What is it saying? Maybe the energies that are being activated in that particular moment from that land and those temples is very different than anything I've been able to receive before. And it wants me to go a completely different way. Respect the temple, respect the energies, respect your intuition, amplify your intuition, go to Intuition Awakening Summer School, please. And then know that you are the student, you are the beginner, you are the apprentice, and you are the teacher, you're the mentor, you're the master. You can embody either of those. You can call on either of those. One is not better than the other because the teacher cannot teach unless it remembers how to be the student, and it cannot remember unless it lets go of being anything and being zero. So sacred space reminds you of all of these laws of nature, all of these sacred tools and realities. Please respect the sacred energy everywhere you go. I would love to ask you to not walk around sacred places talking about what are we doing for lunch and when's this going to happen? And I'm so mad at my husband and this guy almost hit me in my car. Cleanse and clear yourself before you enter the way you would have had to if you entered with a sacred temple of priestesses. If you had entered for a healing, if you'd enter, you would have to cleanse all of that mentally, emotionally, physically before you brought it in. Even if you were going in to speak to the oracle to ask what is the answer to this, your toxicity, your desperation, okay, those low states, they cannot match the frequency of the temple. If you enter at that level, you will only experience at that level. It might be a sense of frustration. It might be distraction. I can't get into this place. I'm distracted by this other thing. I wish it was different. Why can't that? Like, these sites are sentient beings. They contain many lives, many eras, many temples, many intentions, many ceremonies, many wisdoms. Okay, they're multidimensional. All those things exist at once. So do you. So if you are disruptive, if you're full of ego, if you're full of fear, if you're loud and not by chanting happiness and grace, you're interrupting all of these energies. So that's why I say, tell the sacred place beforehand that you are coming into this temple and you respect this temple and you respect everything you can't see, everything you wish you could see, everything you don't know, everything you're hoping for. You have come in reverence, presence, and love. Now, enter in a sacred manner. I like to say, activate my light body. You cleanse and clear it. And then you step into that sacred place in reverence, presence, and love with an open heart and mind as a clear and open channel to the highest good for you and all concerned at this time. So, because when you enter in this way, when you say, Mother, I am here, I come in peace, you will have more of a sense of magic. The birds will start guiding you. They'll tone with you. You'll be met by love and light and medicine in a way that is so magical, so miraculous that you'll be talking about it forever. Or you can tromp through oblivious, attached to your story of negativity. So every visit is unique. It's shaped by your consciousness. It's shaped by what happened. So what's interesting is that when you enter in a sacred way, you open a portal to things that could happen. Many of you saw a picture of, I don't have it right now, that I would know where it is, but a picture of a group of ladies that I took to a local sacred site of the Maya. And it wasn't the special equinox day when the sun comes through, ooh la la. So it was just a normal day. There was one temple we could go inside of, and Temple of Venus that I go to quite a lot. I met the Grand Mary Prosperity grandmothers, and she came out here. She was they were down the beach from me, and I kept getting the message, you have to take uh, them, but her specifically, to that temple. You have to take her, you have to take her, you have to take her. And I had to rearrange all kinds of things, which is very interesting to me because we had other dates we were meeting and doing things, but this particular day that Spirit wanted us to go there. And in the end, she literally had an explosive transformation. She was dancing around, crying, laughing, hugging me, saying, this changed everything. It changed everything. It took everything she had just done recently, so much spiritual work, and made sense of it. It integrated it. And the picture came out that Chris was taking of us. We walked into the temple, and I immediately felt that that day, at that moment, the power spot, the healing spot was right there. And it was this energy that was just whoosh. It was just taking stuff. So I had her, I told everybody, stand right here. I attuned them to the stones, stand here. And then backed away. And Chris took a picture, just randomly, of us doing all of this stuff. And there is a light in her heart. Very bright green light, took a very distinct shape, 3 arms, coming out like a pinwheel almost, incredibly profound. And the information that of how that changed her life just kept pouring through. So that was something that was even outside of like a big retreat that was planned for everything. It was a group. So I take smaller groups if they want to go, couples or single people. If you want to go in a sacred way to a sacred temple to have a transformation, I can design it for you based on so many different aspects of what kind of energy, elementals, ceremony, beauty that you want to bring in, because everything is unique and it is shaped by your consciousness. So awakening the invisible senses means sacred travel awakens forgotten gifts. And this is one of my favorite things. So energies may speak to you through feelings you've never felt, visions, dreams, and sounds. You have 360 senses. You might get downloads, visitations, light codes. Logic fades in these places because you are so palpably between the worlds. You are traveling into different dimensions. Your density is different. It's literally, like we saw earlier, a transformational process at a cellular and atomic level. Intuition and imagination awaken, past and future lives merge. So the temples hold truth, and they hold truth for you. You hold truth for them, and they awaken truth within you. So truth comes in many forms. It might be simple symbols, sounds, chants. It could be an activation we do. It could be the cacao we drink. It could be the sacred waters we get out of the well. It could be the goddess that came in. It could be the leaf that fell down out of the tree while you were standing in the sacred well. It could be the fairy guides that came through the walls of the underground fairy in the White Spring, on the tour. The earth cycles, the magnetic patterns, the encoded geometry is all there holding wisdom that may make no sense to one person. I can't read that map. I don't speak that language, and may pop open for you. We don't know. It's the mystery. So something that's meant for just for you is there, many things, and your spiritual amnesia starts to dissolve. So ask yourself, what truth do you seek? Which temples call your soul? What do your dreams reveal? Are you using your imagination as a sacred gateway? And how can you activate that by bringing your wisdom back to you, by calling on the temples of truth and transformation that you once were a part of, that you would love to be a part of now, that seem to be drawing your attention, that feel like they may have a healing or a message for you. You are being called back in so many different ways, to the sacred schools and teachers of many lifetimes, to your ancient memories and future self, to remember. That means putting that part back onto you put it back on your magic, your path, and your power to co-create a new world through sacred travel. So thank you so much. I will see you next week for this episode where we'll talk about how to enter sacred space for healing, guidance, and protection. How beautiful is this? I just want to breathe in this incredible garden that and behind is the well, and it's just an incredibly magical place. So thank you so much for being here with me, for enjoying. Where are we? Where am I? There I am. Okay. For allowing me to come into your life, to be willing to listen to the sacred in your body, in the earth, in the moon, in the waters, in the stones, in the ancients. So thank you so much. And there wasn't one on there, but on Sunday, I'm going to be doing live intuitive readings. So make sure you subscribe below. You get on my email list so you know when that is, and come get a reading. In the meantime, namaste in Lak'ech. I am another you. You are another me. Your sacred work heals everyone, opens the love that we all hold, and activates the codes for the magic to weave a whole new reality of light, peace, and harmony. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We give great thanks for this moment, for this information, for all these sites that shared and have shared with us, that call us into our future, that are here to co-create us, that act as portals for our transformation, that we may create a world of beauty and create from love. May the circle be open yet unbroken, and this truth and transformation go with us with every breath and every step. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. Take care. Namaste.